This is Mrs. Gerhart, and in this video you're going to learn how to start to add value onto your skin. So the first thing I want you to think about is what parts of your image are skin. So on my image, my face is skin, my neck is skin, your nose is also skin. If you're seeing an ear, that would be skin as well. And you can see I have part of my arm and hand on both sides of my face in this image. So those parts are also going to be skin. Now, in my example that I've been showing throughout the videos, you've seen the skin tones in an orangish color. However, I'm going to use green today because I want to show you that it really doesn't matter what color your skin tones are. You're going to be adding those value changes and it's still going to look like a person because you're putting the value in appropriate places and starting to change where is it light, where is it dark in between. So right now I'm starting near my eyes and I'm looking where my eye socket is. Again, I'm using my image as reference, but you can also use some of the directions that I'm giving in the video to also help. So I'm darkening a little bit. I don't want to go to the point where I'm pressing down really, really hard on my pencil unless it might be like where my chin and my neck meet or the edge of my face. So I want to overall keep it light. You don't necessarily have to add value in every single part of your skin, but you're going to be adding it in some important areas. So you can see that there are some areas where my skin tone gets a bit darker, and you can obviously see that I did not finish my eye in this piece, but I'm just using it for the purposes of teaching it. Then I need to look at some other areas. I'm looking at my nose. Which side is darker? So I have to look carefully. Is this side of the line darker or is the opposite side of the line darker? So right here on the nose, it's actually that outside piece and it comes up a little bit from the nose and then it continues from there. I may even need to erase part of the line that I originally drew so that I'm not seeing that pencil mark when we're done. Now I'm taking a look at the nostril area. Again, starting where I drew my line is a little bit darker, and then it continues to be just a little bit darker underneath that nostril. Now that's not to say that there is not value on top of the nose as well, so I can start to add very light. Notice how I loosened up on my pencil. I was holding it up closer to the tip. When I'm trying to press harder, I'm sliding my hand back. Sometimes I even put my fingers on top so that I can really lighten up my touch on that overall piece as I'm starting to add some of those values. One of the lightest area is down the ridge of my nose, so I'm not going to add very much, if any, value into that area. Then I'm taking a look. Okay, the left side of the nose by where I had placed this nostril is a little bit darker, so I'm going to start there and I'm lightening as I go onto the face. Underneath the nose, where the snot catcher or Cupid's bow is, it gets a little bit darker in the middle, gets a little bit lighter, and then we see that it gets a little bit darker underneath this nostril. So again, I'm not necessarily leaving the nose white, but I'm adding a lighter value where it's lighter. I'm adding a darker value where it's darker. And you can see how my picture has started to change from just having it in that place or outlined to filling in areas. You're looking for areas that it's medium or areas that it's dark, areas that are very light. Now as I'm going to the edge of my face, typically the edge of your face is going to be a little bit darker, and notice I'm following along the line that I originally made, and then I'm going to lighten my touch as I actually come onto the face. And I'm going along with the contours of the face as I start to add that overall value. So notice it's darkest where the edge of the face is, and even if I'm not seeing this on my image, I would probably go ahead and start to add those value changes where it goes from a little bit darker at the edge and it's lightening. So notice I did not go from the edge of the face and just color in my whole face this dark green. Okay, I am changing, but overall it's a very light touch. As I look underneath, Underneath my chin, it gets a bit darker, and it gets a little bit darker right at the edge of my shirt. And again, it lightens. The sides of your neck typically get a little bit darker, and the center, right underneath of your chin, typically gets just a little bit lighter, and that helps to make that illusion, making your neck look like it's three-dimensional, just like a cylinder type of shape. Now, I do have part of my arm showing over here. You can see that it's a little bit darker, and then it gets lighter. Again, my arm is a cylinder shape, so it's going to lighten as it gets closer to us, and it darkens as it gets further away. One thing I forgot to mention on the hair video, don't forget to add your eyebrows. So you're going to be taking a look, what's the texture and what's the value, and whatever your hair colors that you chose for your color scheme, they should be the same as what you're adding for the eyebrow areas as well. And then the last part, you're going to take a look, what does the clothing look like? Where does it get darker? Where does it get lighter? A lot of times you're going to see folds or creases. Make sure that we add those areas in as well. And you're heading towards finishing, adding all of the value into your overall piece.